Welcome, guys. So we just joined the stream as we look to really looking here for some some opportunities into euro pound. So let's take a look. Let's have a look. So I think already straight away, just off the bat there, we can look to try and build into this position a little bit. And you can see previously we've had a good number of buy opportunities. Last one producing a really nice reversal. We've just had one here and a second one. So we've had a couple of come in here now. And then the market is still trading a little bit below that. So we're actually working out pretty well as things stand. I think we're well positioned. And the odds are very much within our favour that we'll be looking to see some sort of a reversal through this pair. So, hello there for Alex joining us on the stream. So, hello, welcome, and just let us know if you've got any questions or anything throughout the stream that you want us to go over. Then feel free, fire them into the chat. Yeah, so we're looking here for a reversal. Overall, we've seen this downtrend happen now for the last... Oh, wrong one. Seeing this reversal happen now. So, yeah, I mean, if we can get any sort of reversal back up to these levels here, the 38.2 potentially would be a nice one, a nice reversal that'd see both of these entries into profit. And we'll see ultimately how that progresses. But yeah, things look pretty good at the moment. Let's see what else is on the market. Let's see if there's any other opportunities around. So I can imagine here on the smaller time frames, we're going to be getting some signals on this one. Yeah, you can see a very nice bottom marked here on the 10-second chart. Probably a little bit early to be going down into those levels just yet, but that probably suggests there's something been going on in the... because that's not dollar related, I don't think. I think that's going to be related to oil. So there'll be a move in oil, I think, has been... let's see if there's any fundamental news that's kind of outlining that move in the USD CAD. So there's news out that Russia are looking to cut supplies. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to be some news that's come out in the past hour or so, certainly fueling this move. So Alex asked, are we trading on the 1 minute time frames? Yeah, we do look on a 1 minute time frame. It's probably one of my favorite time frames to be watching, 1 minute and a little bit lower, because then I can really pick market tops, modern market bottoms pretty well on these levels. Allows me to fade into a move. Even if I'm in these moves for many hours, you can still pick some very nice entries on these levels. So yesterday, for example, we managed to get a really nice... here's an example of how you can pick a market top. That was a high of the day, picked pretty much perfectly. And you can then kind of ride that move for many hours from there, really. So you've got opportunities. You've got all sorts of opportunities here. So you see on oil, even on the 1 minute time frame, we're picking the bottom and able to hold that for a few hours if things do go well. I should delete that off my watch list momentarily, but we just got that back. It's not ideal. Yeah, I think we can build another entry into this. Yeah, so I can understand your philosophy when you're looking at swing trading as well. Well, I mean, in terms of swing trading, scalping, etc., people get boxed into different trades. I like to essentially look into trading, and whether or not your chart time isn't dependent on exactly how many in terms of what time frames you look at, because ultimately I've not been looking at the charts all day. I can come on, pick some trades, and then I can manage those offline if I need to. Okay. You can set stop losses if you want to, trailing stops, all sorts of things that you can do. So you don't necessarily, using a smaller time frame doesn't necessarily mean that you then have to spend more chart time, and certainly doesn't mean less stress. That's for sure, because stress is dependent on our personality more than anything. You could simply have very stressful swing traders who can't stop watching their trade as they go through, as it materializes. But then equally so, you could have scalping trades, if you like, if you would call them a scalper trader, and they would not be stressed. They can take their position, forget about it, move on. It's that mindset is very much dependent on the trader, not necessarily your methods. It's really whatever works for you, but all sorts. I think we can scale into this a little bit more. You've got the US Open coming up shortly, within the next hour or so. So some volume will be returning into markets quite quickly, but still, these are two European denominated markets, really. So even that crossover between the London trading session and New York session will be, certainly can be, volatile. So we have a message coming through on YouTube for that. Let's just mute that, because then we don't get the feedback. So yeah, on YouTube. So good morning to Cindy. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, good point, Alex. I mean, in terms of strategies used by banks, hedge funds, institutions, it's a common fallacy that they will use one strategy or another. There will be a whole host of different strategies. You could, one of the largest strategies, if you like, called by hedge funds and institutions is algorithmic trading. So in terms of their entries and exits, their strategies realistically aren't relatable to retail trading, but many people try to replicate them. It's just something that I think people use to market themselves more than anything. Trade like the banks, etc. It's probably more than anything a marketing ploy by certain people on Instagram, etc. It's realistically profitable or unprofitable. That's what it comes down to in the grand scheme of things. people try to get themselves boxed into different sorts of trading. But ultimately, if you make profit one way or another, that's all that matters. It's a little bit like football or soccer in the US. People will say one way of playing football is the right way or the wrong way. Well, realistically, as long as you win the game, I think that's generally the end result. It doesn't really matter how many passes you've had. It only ever comes down to how many goals you've got. And it's the same for trading. As long as you're making profit and the end result is that you're having a green day, well, realistically, your method to get that doesn't necessarily matter. Generally some strength over the pound pairs. And typically we've got some weakness in the euro pairs. It'll be interesting just watching the US indices as markets open over in the US shortly. No, I don't need to have Tesla on there, really. So a little rally in gold, a little breakout potentially as just as we head into the US session. Looking like a continuation from these bottoms. If things can break up higher, obviously your resistance initially is going to come around this level. We're really looking at anything around that region initially, I think. You really need to clear that before you can start looking at the higher targets. Let's take a little look on the economic calendar, see what is coming up on the economic calendar for this afternoon. Bank of England speech over the next, it's actually due to start in the next 10 minutes. At the same time, we've got ECB speech as well. So got Euro pound pairs should be volatile, and then in approximately an hour, just over an hour's time, we've got the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, essentially a measure on inflation. So that's going to be key for the market. So I think there will be quite a bit of volatility around about 3 o'clock UK time. Overall, looking on the currency indexes, we actually do have currency indexes here. So we've got what's this kind of there's rearrange them slightly. So when we look into the currency indexes, this is something that I get asked quite a lot actually when we do look through these charts, because the only currency index that people are most aware of is the dollar index. It's usually the only one that people are aware of. But people aren't aware that you actually have a currency index for every major currency. So you've got here the Japanese currency index, got the European index. Of course, these only trade through certain hours depending on the exchange that they're open on. You've got the pound index, Swiss index. The Canadian index, Swiss index, and the Aussie and the New Zealand. So generally, people are only aware of this one, but you should also be aware of the others, and it gives you an indication of exactly how they've been trading on the day. As you can already see, the percentage changes. So obviously, we've got two that we're currently trading that are giving us some volatility as things just currently move around. We'll be watching quite a large gap that needs to be filled here on the euro. You can see, like from yesterday's trading, this gap generally is attractive for people to fill. Gap trading is quite a common thing in stock indexes. However, people aren't aware that you also have that in currency trading as well. For example, again, a gap trade here. And you can see how markets generally look to try and fill those gaps if they can. See kind of this little gap that was in markets open. It's then been filled and acted as a resistance later on. So these are all things that people aren't necessarily fully aware of. You can see here, small gap on opening and got filled, and then actually a huge sell-off as things happened on the open there. Same sort of thing here, big gap, etc., etc. You get the you get the picture. But yeah, let's get back to our. Let's make this a little bit easier. Our open trade. There we go. Okay, standing. Running in profit now. Total of 3 entries on this, and we've already been profit on 2, and one of them is just around about break even. So, see how things develop. As I said, we kind of are looking at a potential going back up into this range. I think considering that we've got speakers both for the thank you as well for everybody who follows us, new followers, massively appreciate it. So thanks very much. It always keeps us motivated to keep on doing these. So it's great to see. Baby, would you ride for me? Baby, would you roll with me? Baby, would you ride for me? When I saw you, I was hypnotized. I saw it in your smile, saw it in your eyes, baby. Don't try acting like you never knew. Pay a hunt to get, cause everybody else for you. Now I got you in my arms. I don't wanna ever let you go, baby. Only thing you gotta know. So we'll look at that as a potential levels that people are able to fulfill if the euro does start gathering some momentum and start getting some movement. How's the dollar looking? Dollar's at its level of resistance, level of support. Sorry. And some nice sales on the dollar if we were able to have taken them earlier in the day, but simply went out the charts here, so we did miss that one. How's the pound looking? See, the pound is interesting because that has just filled its gap on its open, so we'll see how things develop on that one. If the pound has filled that and starts to lose some strength, then, well, ideally we'd want to see both the euro gain and the pound lose strength, but you know, you only ever really need one of those for your forex position to move profitably. Cause we both got time to kill, and the world moves so still when I'm laying here with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So at night when you're all alone, you find yourself looking at your phone. You wanna have fun, but you know I don't care at all. So I'ma tell you, like you told me, can't choose everything. What I read, dollar bills, yeah. Dollar bills, yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta go. Thought that I told you I'm on the road. Every single night, sit blowing on my phone. Won't get it to the mess, won't leave me alone. What we're looking at. Yeah, I said it looks just like that. You see me doing well, now you trying to come back.
You don't know my story. You don't know what it's like waking up in the morning in another city where the weather's shitty. I ain't talking about sex, but I'm getting busy. All these girls messing with me, but we still broke. Shit, there's no money, but there's still hope. We've been living on our own for a year now. And you just wishing you were here now. I swear to God, if we make it, I'ma stop getting
Let us know in the chat how you think this trade's going to go. For a reminder, we're buying the euro pound market. We're looking for buys around these levels. You can see some of the entries that we've taken. Total of 3 entries that we've taken. Somewhere pretty much these last 3. Similar places. We're looking on the 1 minute chart as well. So yeah, just let us know what you think of how things have been and what your forecast is for this market. It's always interesting getting other people's perspective. Pretty much from what I can see here, crypto markets are going pretty much flat from our last stream that we were looking at. We were looking at some buys on the altcoins. You can see the entire altcoin market on this chart here, and you can see there were some buys that we were looking at when we were streaming last night, when we were doing our review of the day. We'll try and do another one of those tonight, but we'll just depending on time really, whether or not I can do that online or whether or not it's something that I'll do myself, one or two. But yeah, we're looking at buys after this kind of drop throughout the day, and the sell-off that happened throughout the day. We're thinking the strength will probably come into altcoins, and that's proceeded from the Bitcoin dominance chart. Again, these are some of the charts that people are not always aware actually exist and that you can use in your own trading. So it's just kind of a lesson that we shared last night, is that when you see a rise in the Bitcoin dominance chart, you can see here going through the 43%, that signals a sell-off in altcoins, because it is just simply people moving from altcoins into Bitcoin. So this chart is just showing what percentage of the cryptocurrency cap is denominated in Bitcoin, okay, opposed to anything else. So you can actually see a move away from selling your altcoins, you sell them back into Bitcoins. That's a move into safety. So when you start to see a trend in this market, you can actually then determine which way that the market is actually moving, whether or not it's taking on risk, which generally means that this chart would be going down, or whether or not the crypto market is fearful and it's actually this chart would be moving higher. So we can see here, look, a bull run in altcoins is signaled from a sell-off in the Bitcoin dominance chart. So this means that people are selling Bitcoin, which is perceived as a safer asset in the crypto world, taking on riskier assets such as altcoins, etc., and various different altcoins. So you can actually see exactly how that works. So you can, I'll show it even a little bit clearer. So if we just kind of, this here is essentially from Tuesday. So if you look at any of these altcoins on Tuesday, let's pick one. Okay, AMP, for example. Tuesday, huge bull run. When we go back to Bitcoin dominance chart and we see The rise in the dominance chart, so that was yesterday. So if you took kind of this chart from Thursday, then you can see it's a big rise. Well, if you look at the same market, what were we on? AMP, okay, from Thursday, sell off. Okay, so really useful chart to look at. And typically, if this chart is moving down, then typically the not only the altcoins, but typically cryptocurrency as an asset is actually moving higher. Typically, in that rule, because it means it's taking on more risk. So people are more willing to take on risk in that situation. So it's a good lesson to know. Not everybody is aware of it. So see exactly how long this move is going to require some watching, but things aren't happening so much on this at this moment in time. See if there's anything else moving in the markets. So we're around about 20 minutes away from the US Open on the stock market. And approximately about an hour away from the consumer sentiment index. I think that was due later. Let's have a look. Yeah. So this is a US sentiment indicator. It's essentially going to be a read on inflation. So it will be heavily anticipated. The projected numbers, let's have a look. The projected numbers are 65. A slight rise from last month's, which was 64.9. So we'll see kind of how this moves. Okay. Thank you to Solomon. I'm not going to try and pronounce it Solomon. Or we'll go with Solomon. So thanks for sharing, and well, thanks for following as well. So a small spike here in the euro market. So if we can get a break above this resistance, come back up into these levels up here. See any sort of interest in trying to look at this Fibonacci retracement from the overall move? And at the same time, a break above this trend line would be a very welcome move. So if coming out from the ECB, so at the moment if people are not aware, we've got two speeches on at the moment. We've got Bank of England and we've got the ECB that are speaking at the moment. News from the ECB speeches that their quote is that further rate hikes will help bring inflation back to their target. So they've said to us, tackling inflation is our top priority. We've hiked interest rates at a record pace, starting to shrink our bond holdings, and we will stay the course in raising inflation rates to bring inflation back to our 2% target in a timely manner. So they're committed to continue raising rates. So that will be bullish for the euro itself, or should be. Further rate hikes will help bring inflation to our target, which, given nominal wages, will increase real wages. Fighting high inflation, we are supporting the sustainable growth of the euro area economy. The war, mentioning the Ukraine war, has made all of us worse off, but we are doing our best to limit the consequences. We need to counter high inflation by tightening monetary policy at the moment. New lending operations, even if green, are not in line with our price stability mandate. Bringing inflation back to its target is our best contribution to the green transition. We and many other forecasters underestimated the persistence of inflation caused by energy price shocks, supply chain disruptions, and strong demand. We are doing everything we can to bring our inflation back to a 2% target in a timely manner. And finally, housing costs matter for people's expenditures, but are only partly included in the inflation index. In our strategy review, we recommended to better reflect housing costs in the future. Okay, so rises in. So my takeaways from that are essentially that ECB are very committed to fighting inflation. Of course, mentioned that numerous times throughout their speech, and more importantly, that they're looking to bring down inflation to 2%. Okay, and will be committed to raising rates as far as required in order to do exactly that. Now, also important to mention there is that housing costs are looking to be in the future included within their inflation data. So that should mean that that will mean that the reporting is going to change, and the numbers, higher chances of getting a surprise on these inflation indexes reports when they do come out. So we should be watching that for the future to see whether or not that's going to have a huge impact when it comes to these news events. But none of that's really helping our trade at the moment. So for what all of it was worth, we're still trading in this range and still just slightly below that trend line. So we'll just kind of watch and monitor exactly how this works and how this generally will run. Somewhere around about that for our trend line, our channel. So what we'd be looking to do is try and break this initial smaller time frame, and then obviously you could look to move higher on the higher time frame trend line as we approach the bottom of this channel. You'll notice also as well where we've got support levels throughout this region. Really, this was really a base for the large bullish run that we saw from previous. See that clearer on the hourly. Got a support line coming in here from the hourly levels. It doesn't really tie in. I don't think many of those Fibonacci levels are going to tie in too much confidence for us. We're watching through our watch list here, see if we can see anything come through. CAD is continuing to fall off. So we're getting something on the 30 seconds now. A couple of entries on the 15 seconds. And say we challenge that top line again. Challenging that top trend line again. We'll see exactly what, on this occasion if we can break through. Because if we do break through, then it's clear to see we've got another channel coming up here from the higher time frame that we could then challenge to the top of that trend line. No news coming out from the Bank of England meeting so far, but we'll keep you updated if it does. Can we look to get involved in any buying on the USD CAD? Why not? It looks like it's following our strategy, so we like to get involved. So some movement now in this. Good, solid move up higher. Now it looks like, if we can get that confirmed on the 1 minute, which we've got a 1 minute close. So now we look to try and stay above this trend line. And breaking just above this resistance that you can see here at the top of this range will be vital. So just this very thin level here. If we start clearing that, then things look very bullish for this pair. But we'll just see. We're already looking pretty good, and that entry in USD CAD also just kind of picked up as well. Yeah, so these look like they're looking pretty nice as well. Looks like this barrier to price is actually being a lot more consistent, a lot more persistent, sorry, than we'd like to see. We look to charge at it again. Yeah, it's just this on the euro that we're kind of trying to break through. Just this kind of barrier that we're seeing on the euro currency index. You know, obviously, if we can break through that, then we are looking trying to break above and fulfill this gap. But at the moment, can't see that. The pound is still kind of trading through this, all through this rubbish. Just kind of grinding after it's fulfilled its morning gap, but it's all this from the euro that we're looking at. We're going to just we are going to close that euro pound trade just because, as I say, this seems like it's now been a few times and it's not flying through this resistance that I'd like. So we'll just close the pound trade, the euro pound trade. Things could massively change. I'm sure they will. Usually happens just as you close a trade, but either way, it's in profit, and we're able to just close just really before that candle's come out. So glad that we did. And we've got a sizable, or healthy position moving on the USD CAD position. So let's have a look at that. Take that out now. USD CAD. So I've got a couple of these buy positions, and it looks like we're getting a decent run there. So I think we can just take that one as well. Why not? We're in decent amount of profit on both of those. So that's around about where we're up to. Yeah, an hour's worth of trading. 2 profitable trades secured. And yeah, it's always good to be green for the day. What I'm going to be watching now is this consumer sentiment index that's due out shortly. 27 minutes time. Looks like that was a nice decision as well. Just to kind of took that profit right at the top, and those things have just kind of moved back now. So we now look for more opportunities. See if there's anything else that's coming up. Worked out quite nicely. You can see, look at that retest of the trend line that we'd marked out. So that was a clear break, retest, and we're now looking to probably challenge that top line again at top resistance level. Just kind of marked out here over the past hour or so that we've been bouncing against that resistance. And it's quite a nice little trade, even though we're able to eke out a small profit on that one, just from building our position in over these smaller time frames. It has enabled us to still eke out a profit out of something that was just range bound and quite a frustrating trade. So it's always good to see if your strategy is working in poor trading conditions, then you know that things are you know that you're on a winner, really. Can't see anything else other than this. Yes, the CAD position is the only real thing that's kind of in the market at the moment that looks even interesting. Let's have a look what we've got here. Got some on the 1 second charts on the Nasdaq. I need to just go grab a charger, so just bear with me. There we go. That's better. So here, a nice kind of local top in the Nasdaq and in essentially all of the US indices. So we've got news due here. Oof. So there are some great sells to take right at the top there. Shame we're a few minutes or a minute too late on those. For some reason, I've lost the chat box on TradingView, so I do apologise to anybody that has been messaging on the on here, and I'm not sure how to get that back. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I missed these buys as well. We were just busy looking into the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index that's coming out. You see, that was a superb entry and trade. Look at that. That short buys back in there. 77 point move. Lovely. Then on the back side of it as well, on the upside, boom, another 40 pips on the upside. Superb opportunities on the market there. It looks like we did well on the ESD CAD to get out of that. Let's take that again though. I think we're getting an opportunity on that one, just to bag a small winner. Small quick scalping winner on that one, I reckon. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. In and out of the market. Lovely. Great little win. Essentially just taking off these buys here. just on a 1 second chart and a tick chart, so you can actually just bag a few pips very quickly. So that was nice. USD yen moves. Reading some more about the consumer index coming up. Sentiment index is coming up at 3 o'clock. Well, 12 minutes time. So people are essentially, when I'm looking here at the cross section of different banks that are forecasting the index that's due to come out at, say, at the top of the hour, 10 minutes time, what I'm seeing is that there are a range of estimates, and the likelihood that this could surprise to the upside. So the estimated amount is 65 is the reading that it will come out. However, that isn't necessarily how it will be, how it will be viewed. Because ultimately, if it's higher than 65, it should be a rise in the dollar, which will mean that things such as the Nasdaq will fall. It will also mean that things such as Bitcoin, anything really denominated in a dollar, oil will all fall because a stronger dollar. Flip side, of course, on the other side of that, but from what I've read, it's quite heavily influenced by politics. And the argument that I'm seeing is that potentially politics don't, at the moment in the US isn't as diversive as it has been. So with things being a little bit milder on that front, we could look at a stronger beat on the consumer sentiment. Consumers may be feeling a little bit better. Unemployment's at a record low. Consumers probably feel pretty good about that. Inflation is coming down. It's still high, but it's coming down. So consumers could again be looking at a little bit of a rise in that. So yeah, we'll see how things play out. Just going to take a short break, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, how are we doing, guys? So I'm back now, looking just to see if there's anything progress. Thanks as well to a new follower that we've had, Mohammed. It hasn't updated on this screen for some reason or another, but just popped in one of my other screens. So thanks very much. All follows, much appreciated. Like, share, follow, all of that good stuff, please, guys. You can see already here on the consumer price index or current consumer sentiment index, that's CPI. There's a read on inflation. You can see the volatility as we're approaching this. So it should be a high impact news event. So nothing really coming out in a few moments before the trade event, and so we'll just kind of wait to see the effect on the market, and then probably trade the aftermath depending on how things come through, what opportunities present themselves. So that's what we're looking at this moment in time. That's the plan. We can kind of digest the news and then go from there. We don't need to have a trade open as we come into this news event. So it looks like we've got some buy opportunities here.
You never did wrong, never hurt nobody. Could be why God took you in a hurry. Can we just talk, cause I need somebody. Where are you now? Tell nobody. Nah, no, I won't tell nobody. Nah, you can't buy time with money. But I wouldn't care how much I lose. Just for one more day with you. You, 6'2". Why the hell my sister calling me at 6'2"? She barely calls, maybe she just got me confused. But something told me I should pick it up to see if she's cool. Hello, what's wrong? What happened? Stop crying, what you saying? I can't understand it. So much pain in the voice, it's starting to panic.
Small profits on that one. More scalping opportunity. See if we get any more. They flew into the hospital, they didn't tell me why. So I picked up my father, I'm doing 90 on the 50. When the cop pulled me over, the church to put away the ticket. When I told him what happened and said I gotta get so quickly, then he followed us there when he didn't have to, but he did it. And I can't even lie, haven't even got a sigh when I start to cry. So the news came out pretty strong. Expected was 65 and it's actually coming at 66.4. So as we mentioned before, the news event had the potential to surprise to the upside, and it certainly did that. Quite a strong expectation. I think it's higher than what most people were expecting. Only really Deutsche Bank that I could see actually had a higher expectation. Their expectation was somewhere near 69, some way off that, but the consensus was 65 and just a bit above that, but 66 is actually a pretty strong beat on expectations. 66.4 in total overall. And when you compare that to the previous last report was 64.9, so we've had a decent jump on that one. Now, whether or not it actually comes through to CPI data, we'll wait and see. At the same time, we had some news event come out, less impact, less kind of. It's the 5-year consumer inflation expectation. So essentially what inflation looks like from the consumer's perspective for the next 5 years, and that is unchanged at 2.9%. Get some more buy opportunities here. Very nice entries on that one. And again, some profits on there. So it's been a nice little news event this has for us. Been able to secure two entries, 2 profits in terms of scalps on this one. Looks like we could have held those last buys for quite some time longer, but oh well. In my eyes, it's always about profit. Can we get profit? And that's the main key element for me. So it looks like these are some very nice buy entries. The market's really running away now as they move up higher. So essentially, all of these after news event entries are now in profit from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that could have been built into this move. We ended up taking these here and took some profits, and then we took some down here as well. But of course, took those early, and it looks like the market has absolutely ran away. So that's a real bounce from the news event, but that's fine. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to kind of wrap it up here because we've been streaming for about an hour and a half, and overall been really, really positive. We've had, let's have a look through some of the trades that just a little recap. Let's have a look on the MT4. Slide up. Where are we? First of all, what did we have? It was the euro pound trade. Let's actually see how that got on. That's always interesting to see, isn't it? Is that going to be another one that I should have held? Looks like it. By the looks of it, it's absolutely flown. So we were looking at buys on these. And yeah, looks like we've flown through that previous resistance. Just by holding it on for another 15-20 minutes, we could have made a significant amount on that, but we still made profit, and that's the key thing. USD CAD, how are we looking on that? Pretty much still flat, not kind of move one way or t'other. And hasn't reacted hugely from that news event that we've just seen at 3 o'clock. It had a small bounce in the dollar, but not too much. Let's have a look also into what happened on the currency index. We were looking at the euro here. Seeing whether or not we got a breakout on that. No, we didn't get a breakout on that. Certainly. So what's happened is that the pound has dropped. So that explains how the euro pound trade has moved. That's moved on pound weakness opposed to dollar euro strength. But just goes to show you, when you're trading forex, you're essentially got bets on two different assets. You know, of course, in this situation, it's bets on the euro being strong and bets on the pound being weak. But realistically, you only actually need one of those to be right for you to start making money. As long as the other one is kind of neutral, you know, if they move both in the same direction, you'll end up not really getting too much change in the currency. But that's what you're betting on, as it were. So it's important just to actually remember exactly the fundamentals of what you are trading. Because ultimately, if you get both, then that's the Goldilocks period where you can really, you know, profit substantially. If you get a strong euro and a weak pound at the same time, well, that's fantastic. But realistically, you only ever need one of those to make a decent amount of profit. As you've seen here, a decent market move, just simply by having a weak pound. The euro's done pretty much what it's been doing all day. So, yeah, that's to explain that one. Right, yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to wrap that up now, guys. But thanks very much for coming along and joining us with the stream. And of course, if you want to see more of this, then follow along. All the links are below. Keep you updated with exactly how things are moving. And any trades and different things that happen throughout the day, we always keep you updated. But other than that, thanks very much for joining, and wish you a very profitable Friday. And if we don't see you before, have a great weekend.